Welcome back, Jebel Ali. Taxi time. Well, in this tutorial, we are going to enable our car to pick up passengers, and you're going to get points or a score each time you collect a passenger. Now, if you're feeling confident, you might want to have a go at this on your own and look back what we did when we created a variable for laps, and also what happened when we touched another sprite, and see if you can work out how you can get a score for each time you touch one of the people. Because if you look on my game here, I've added two more sprites. I've added Abby and Anina. These are just sprites, people sprites, and I'm going to collect them, and when they get in my car, as I'm a taxi driver, I am going to get a passenger point. If you are wanting to have a little watch of this tutorial without having a go, you're quite welcome to, and let's see how we're going to do it. Now, first things first, we need to have a kind of a passenger score, so it tells us how many passengers. Can you remember what we did to store the value of the laps? We created what? A variable. Yeah, if you said variable, you were right. So first things first, we're going to go onto variables, and I'm going to make a variable, and I'm going to call it passengers. Okay, and I'm going to make sure it's for all sprites, and then click on OK, and we get a brand new variable here. Again, you can move that around. You can put that down here if you want, or in the middle. I'm going to put mine in the middle. Now, what we of course need to do, like we did for laps, we need to set our passengers to 0, because we'll have nobody in our car at the beginning of the game. So the way we can do that on our car sprite. So I'm going to go down here to my car sprite, and we see where we set laps to 0, we can do exactly the same for passengers. So if we look in our variable section, because we've just created it, you'll see that we've got set, and then if you click on here, you can see that you've got the choice of passengers now. So I'm going to set passengers to 0, and I'm going to drag that and put that next to my laps. So that basically, when my green flag is clicked, my laps are set to 0, and also my passengers are set to 0. Now, so the way this works, each time our passenger touches the car, the passenger value will go up by 1, and our passenger will get inside the car. And the way we do that, we do the coding on each of our passengers. So I'm going to go to my passenger here, and that's Anina. So I'm going to click on Anina. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're checking now if our sprite is touching the car. When it touches the car, she's going to disappear and look like she's got in the car. Okay, so the way we do that, again, we need to be checking for ever if. It's the same again. So go down to events. So first, we want it from the beginning of the game. So we drag on our green flag. And that loop again that checks continually is the what loop? If you said forever, you are correct. So we're checking forever if. So we need our control block if. So this time we're checking if our person is touching our car. So we go to sensing and touching, not the mouse pointer. We need to choose the car. Remember, we're on the person. So we're checking this time the opposite way around. We're checking if the person is touching the car. So if we're touching the car, we need two things to happen. What do you think they are? One, for the person to disappear or look like they've got in the car. So that is a looks block. So we want them to hide. So there you go. We've got the hide block just here. So in looks, down to hide. So that will hide our character. And what do we need to do to the passenger variable? Can you remember that word begins with in? Increment or add to. So we need to increment by 1. So we're going to go to our variables. Then go to, remember here, I'm going to highlight this so you get this right. Make sure you use change by 1. Notice it's laps. Don't worry about that, because we can change by clicking on the drop down list, and that's the way we do that. So we change laps to passengers, and we drag change passengers by 1, and place it inside the if loop. Now there's one thing. No, I think that's right. That's going to work. Maybe we'll test it. Let's see. So I'm going to click on my green flag, and then my car starts, and then I'm going to go to my passenger. In she gets. And did my passengers go by 1? It most definitely did. There's my passengers as incremented by 1. Now if I press my green flag, and remember, I should go to 0. Perfect. My passengers has gone back to 0. Now you can add as many people as you want. Okay, that's entirely up to you. But remember, you need to add this code to each of your new passengers. Okay, so I've got my second passenger here, and that is Abby. I've got no code for Abby at the moment, and basically it's the identical code that you put in here. Okay, and that is as simple as that. You can add that code to your second passenger, and it will give you 2 passengers. And the more you get, the more passenger points you will get. Okay, and that is how you add a passenger pickup to your game, and also you create a new variable called passengers and increment each time your passenger touches your racing car. And that is the end of this tutorial, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial. Take care and see you soon.